early stages of the fourth quarter, one-on-one move. You can see the versatility for Hockstead. His second goal of the game. Hahn has been shut out. Whipple has not scored. Scotty Hockstead and that trio, they're going to have to step up.
I don't think that team can win if Hahn doesn't score. That's how important he is to that offense. Time left, 10 and change. You see it there, counting down. 3-goal lead. Turning point, if Maryland's to get back and close even further, Quint, was when it was 8-4, and they had a 2-man advantage. Could have made it 9-4. Maryland pushes them away and then gets a goal of their own. Up top, pressure on Healy, and it'll be burned by Hubbard. Defense failing Healy as Hubbard, the big right-hander. Boy, that is not where you want him to shoot from. At that location on the field, it is almost a certain goal.
This play was designed for Josh Sims coming off the pick left-handed, but you can see Sims carries, and then there's a big opening on the far side, and Hubbard, with time and room, high to low, nothing Healy could do about that. Princeton right now shooting the ball better than Maryland. We've seen Maryland miss the cage a lot. Princeton, they're burying the ball behind Healy. There he is, Jesse Hubbard, got more goals than anybody in Princeton history. Great execution. The play broke down. Maryland did a nice job. Sims was forced behind the cage, but he kept playing. Only his 5th assist of the season.
And faceoffs that are so critical are being lost by Maryland. This last 10 minutes, we've seen just a ton of faceoffs taken, or the critical ones taken by Princeton. They are so tough now with a 4-goal lead. They will possess the ball and make you take it from them. John Hess behind. Connor trying to stay right with him, stick in his numbers. Tough to take it from John Hess.
You can see Maryland extending the adjacent pressure. They're stretching their defense out. If Princeton can deal with this pressure, they should get some quality shots here. The question is, do they want to pull back or do they want to attack?
Mark Whaling now with the ball. A lot of time taken off already. What they'll do here is they'll work the ball, let you hope that you invite you to make a mistake, I should say. And when you make a mistake, they will burn you with a goal. Jesse Hubbard comes behind. Mike Bonanni playing D on him. Gets the ball down to the turf. He has it loose right now, but who will get it? Healy out of the goal. Here's some trouble. Watch out, open net. Hess trying to get it out front. They know nobody's in there. Finally, Healy gets back.
Three white jerseys swarmed that ball. All 3 attackmen. Healy came out, but it was just a swarm of white jerseys. And now they'll get another chance to kill some time here and work for the high-quality shot. They really hustle when that ball's loose. Great hunger by that attack unit. A lot of attack units really just known for their scoring, but these guys can do it all.
Rob Torty has possession. Short stick defender Eric Osberg playing him. Torty sees a little bit of a room. Osberg playing it beautifully for the right hand. No angle there. Watch out. Coming in close. Shot from the far side. Easy goal for Seamus Grooms. Just splits the defense and comes in, goes to his left, and beats Healy on the backside.
Seamus Grooms had 2 goals in the semifinal. 2 huge goals for the senior as they beat Syracuse, and today scores the 10th for Princeton. Terrific execution from the second chance opportunity. Hess with the beautiful feed right on the money. And watch Seamus Grooms with some patience, finds the lower corner. The slide is late from Maryland. There's Seamus Grooms on the sideline, senior from West Genesee, looking for his 3rd national championship ring.
Facing off in the middle of the field, Greg Mecca, who has taken most of them for the last, well, most of this half, number 24. Brian Reese for Maryland goes out. Maryland has a ton of goals to make up here. 5 goals against Princeton. It's a long hill to climb. Healy is out of the goal. He's being ragged by 3 players. He will not get it cleanly. Help coming. And again, Princeton gets it back.
It's going to be a push against Jesse Hubbard. He was lucky that the foul wasn't thrown. That was high and from behind. You can see Hubbard, that man right there, Massey, throwing their bodies around. They can sense this one.
They make it tough to get it out of the zone. Look at this. Maryland cannot make the easy pass. They just don't give you the easy plays. Make you think about everything you do. Princeton's way is one of no mistake offense and defense. Braden, hard shot out front, tries to get it into Hockstead, and he gets leveled. Braden working it down low to Hockstead. They'll lose the ball on the crease violation.
It's the right idea by that man right there, Scott Hockstead. Good defense, though. They came with the body, and Popham, Corey Popham just held his ground.
He was kind of behind the plane of the goal when the ball got to him. A tough shot for Scott Hockstead. And Raiden, I thought, had a pretty good shot up top. You know, he's been effective just going ahead and taking the hard shot. Ball loose on the ground. Could be trouble, but they get it up cleanly. Picked off by Maryland's defense. Offside call. Or was it a timeout? Hard to say. Technical, Bonani, offsides called. It's a technical foul. Is it on Maryland?
It's on Maryland. The Princeton sideline, they're clapping. They've
So
got their extra man unit now taking the field.
5-goal lead. This one's all, but shouldn't say over, but looking pretty hard for Maryland to come back 5 goals. Now they've got an extra man play to look at.
It might even be a mouthpiece violation. Actually, it's an offside. 30 seconds now. Princeton will zip the ball around the outside. Again, Hubbard can burn you with that right-handed cannon.
I'll tell you, 5-goal lead, that's enough to cause you nightmares with only 7 minutes left. This will make it 6. Off the iron. Lawrence Smith had it measured and out of bounds.
Nice hustle by Andrew Whipple. That's a shot. First person to get closest to the ball when it goes out.
And Whipple came from the
and
far
Whipple
side.
came from the far side. He was the attacker, and he was closest. Just an absolute rocket off the pipe that had Healy burnt. Lawrence Smith with that long motion. He's a lefty, but he's about 6'3", and he gets his arms way behind him and just brings that crank shot. He yanks the ball so well. That ball went about 50 yards off the iron.
And if you're Maryland, Quint, the sirens have to go off now because you've got to start scoring. You cannot wait any longer. 5 goals to make up, not much time. You don't know how many possessions you'll get against Princeton. You know they'll hold the ball. And look at this. Nobody moving it. Raiden getting sandwiched. Ball down. Princeton's going to take it away again. They are just too smart. They don't make it easy for Maryland, and they double team and get the ball back. Maryland threw away another chance for a key possession. And close. Easy shot and a goal by Jess Hubbard.
Great pass by Barrier. It all started with the double team. Harrington made a beautiful crossfield pass to Barrier, who took it inside. A little eye contact with Hubbard. Here it is. Watch the eye contact. Barrier will just find Hubbard inside on the front swing right there, and Hubbard, easy catch, little jump shot past Healy. Poor defense by Maryland. Not what you expect by Princeton to jam that ball inside, but you can see the stick skills. Barrier right on the money, and Hubbard now has 2 goals in the 4th quarter.
Princeton reads so beautifully from both ends of the field. Noe now in for Maryland trying to get the face-off, and he's helped by wingman Eric Osborg. Now, Osborg, last time they had possession, Quinn, it was amazing how they came down and took the double team and lost the ball almost right away. They've got to get goals. They are down by 6 with almost not enough time mathematically to make up that difference.
Well, when you have Haggerty as your face-off guy, you're never really that far out of it. He can pop 2 or 3 real quick.
Andrew Whipple goes far side, throws it right out of bounds. Tough way to end the season for this great attack from Maryland. They have been so spectacular the whole season, and today they just haven't gotten it figured out. The defense of Princeton is just too much for Andrew Whipple, #1, and Hahn, 32. That's been the combination that has caused everybody problems who has played defense against Maryland.
And this senior class for Maryland, they've won more games than any class in Maryland history.
Big hit by Osberg, but Smith gets it to Mark Whaling. He absorbs the hit, and Maryland swimming the ball. Holy smokes, they give it to Princeton. They check the ball out, and they'll call a penalty on Reese.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on Reese.
And
there might even be 2.
And on Whipple.
The referee said that the ball
hit a body.
Exactly. On its way down, it hit off the hip of a Maryland Terrapin. And now, not sure who that was, a Carrier launches the flag into the crowd, and he will be whistled. This is going to be the 3rd unsportsmanlike conduct from Maryland.
Kind of a,
Casey Connor picked up the flag and threw it into the stands.
Not the way Dickie Dell wants his program to end this sensational year. He got his team back to the finals for the rematch. Dickie Dell is as much a father to these kids as he is their coach. They're an emotional team, Quint, and that's what's coming out right now. But this kind of stuff, you know, neither of these 2 coaches can put up with. How many guys are off the field? Can they count them enough?
Whipple, Reese, and Connor will all be in the box for 1 minute unsportsmanlike conduct. penalties. It'll be a 6-on-3.
They better take a few more red shirts off the field.
A little frustration, Sean. Maryland upset with the initial call. I think it was the right call. I don't know if we have a replay, but that ball seemed to deflect off of Terrapin's hip and roll out of bounds.
Well, if you're looking for Stanley Cup action, don't forget, ESPN has it for you. The Eastern Conference Finals, they match Hasek and the great Buffalo Sabres team against the Washington Capitals. It's game 2 tonight at 7:30 Eastern time. You can see all the action as they move toward the Stanley Cup Finals on ESPN. Princeton's the kind of team that can really frustrate you. Popham has been the story. He gets my vote for the MVP. I think he really set the tone early, Quinn. He had pressure early, and he turned back a lot of heat in that first quarter.
He did. The junior from the Gilman School, starting in his first championship game. Remember, Pat Cairns and Pancho Gutstein won the title for Princeton. Had a shaky season, but they played such great defense in front of him. Played his best game of the year today. And Jesse Hubbard now in the fourth quarter with 2 goals. The all-time leading scorer at Princeton. He played for the USA team this summer in the World Games.
6-on-3. This will be cherry picking. Who wants to take the shot? In the middle of the field, moving back and forth, is John Wynn. Wynn could be the likely candidate as they move on the outside. Well, it comes from the outside. There comes Massey up top. On a ball movement. Big rocket shot, and Healy makes a great save. Healy has had a sensational year for Maryland. He just gets that one out of his own zone.
Great
Not a bad
play by Healy. Second-team All-American season for Kevin Healy. Took that one right off the helmet. He'll be tested again. Still a 6-on-3.
Chris Massey will take time. You know, if they just take the time off the clock, that's almost as good as a goal. There's 6 goals to make up, 5.5 left.
And they can, because one of those fouls against Maryland was a 3-minute non-releasable call.
Big shot by Hubbard. Jesse Hubbard's he's got the cannon. This is the U.S. team member, and you can he'll showcase his skills against the world in July. That's the spot he shot from earlier. That is his favorite spot for the big right-hander.
6'1", 210 pounds, out of Georgetown Prep. He's got over 30 hat tricks now in his career. Here it is again. Time and room. This is just a scary sight for a goaltender. Watch him size this up, and look at the accuracy. Just under the bar, you can see the moisture come off the goal. Jesse Hubbard with a hat trick now in the fourth quarter. And there's the trio that will go down in history as one of the greatest attack units in the history of the sport. You have to give them that respect now as they're looking to get their 3rd national championship. You can talk about stats, you talk about numbers, but they've won 3 national titles.
And they've done it every way possible, Quint. They win the overtimes, they win the blowouts. They are just cool, calm, and collected. They beat Syracuse. They go into the fourth quarter down. They win the fourth quarter in the semifinal 5-1 and just coolly march on to their 3rd championship in a row.
And they have always stepped up when the game has been on the line. It's been those guys who have gotten it done in the NCAAs.
Well, one thing we can do for you is count the Maryland players, see who's left in the box. It'll be a face-off. You got, looks like 3 one-minute penalties. We've got 3 on the attack end, and that's it. Against 6 Maryland. This is Hockstead going against the world.
Running for his life.
Hockstead playing against the whole defense, can't get the shot off. And now the players back on the field. Looks like it could be even strength. Foul will be on Maryland again. Shot coming in. Healy gets tested far side. Hubbard gets another goal. He's cranking up the history books for his own numbers. And a lot of little chippy kind of action up here on the offensive end for Maryland. Hubbard, what a great day, what a great season, what a great career. This guy, his name will be mentioned many, many years down the road.
4 goals in the fourth quarter. Jesse Hubbard, 4-time All-Ivy League selection. He can do it all. We saw the outside shot. He's great in traffic. Early on in his career, really not much of a dodger. He's really improved that area of his game, and he can really sting you now from the inside. There he is, Jesse Hubbard, 4-time All-Ivy League selection. Had the game winner in '96 in overtime in a really dramatic moment. His 4th goal of the game. He's got over 30 goals now in his NCAA career.
Part of that magic 3 on the offensive end of the field. Jesse Hubbard, Chris Massey, John Hess. At one point in their careers, 3 years ago, Coach Tierney gave the ball to them and said, look, the future of Princeton lacrosse in the next few years is in your hand. Look at that numbers on the attack. 8-2, they've outscored them. We'll come back for our final moments here at Rutgers. We're at Rutgers Stadium, and the score 13-5. Princeton Tigers, defending champions, looking for that three-peat. They have an 8-goal lead, and Quint, they not only do it offensively and defensively, they've got the class to go with it. This team spreads the wealth. Hubbard, yes, he scored 4 of the last 5. He is a force, but everybody gets credit. Take a look at his offense. Now, this is live action. As they come back, Mecca gets another faceoff. He really has done a great job since they put him in there to get the faceoffs. Part of the formula in the second half.
That's right, the faceoffs and the goaltending. And Corey Popham now will leave the game for Princeton. The senior, DeBello, will step on for Princeton. Popham, great job today. The questions were faceoffs and goaltending. Hey, and they answered. And then the attack took over from there.
Maryland playing shorthanded again. Hockstead, I think, in there for a minute penalty. With 2 players in there for a minute. They're 2-man short, 6 against 4. They'll just hold it behind the goal. Widely understood that through these wonderful 3 years, this team, really, they've only lost like 1 game. They would never go above 19 goals. If they got up to where they were really beating a team, including last year's championship game against Maryland, they would stop at 19. And there's a goal by Massey. But Princeton remembers, Quint, when they were getting beat badly. Tierney remembers when he first came and he had to build his program over 5 years. You remember getting shellacked, and he said he promised he would never do that to another team. He stops at 19 if he ever gets the chance.
It's a classy move. Coach Tierney, that man there, all full of class. Took over Princeton 1988. I remember when we played them in 1988, we shut them out. We beat them 9-0. 4 years later, they're really the program to beat. Coach Tierney using that defensive formula, and then you win with defense, and you can recruit athletes like that man right there, John Hess and Chris Massey. Once you start winning ball games, you can start to attract great goal scorers. And this trio, an example of that.
Yeah, the magic of this trio, though, goes a little beyond that. The fact that they meld so beautifully, a shooter, a feeder, a dodger. They just have done magical things in the last 3 years at Princeton. 14-5. After that first half, who would have believed it would have been this much of a blowout, Quint? 3-3 at the half, 14-5.
An 11-2 run. Princeton has thoroughly dominated the second half. Made some adjustments at halftime. They were getting their shots in the first half. But in the second half, it's been all Princeton.
They have controlled everything they needed to control, including their emotions. Pascalina in now as Maryland back to full strength, it looks like, for the final 3:22. We're looking at Rutgers Stadium. This is a championship game. Princeton leading 14-5 as the ball goes wide. They are the defending champions in white against Maryland in red, and 3-3 halftime turned into a major blowout here by the Princeton Tigers. They will win the championship 3 years in a row in Division I lacrosse. Leif Elsmo and Quint Kesenick bringing you all the action here on ESPN.
The game was knotted up at 3 at halftime, and then Princeton's thoroughly dominated the second half on an 11-2 scoring run, and their big guns have stood up and been counted. Hess, Massey, and Hubbard.
Christian Cook, the story coming in. He was hurt, the captain of the team from Denver, Colorado, hurt in the game against Syracuse. He shut down Casey Powell, the most prolific scorer, the most dynamic scorer in Division I lacrosse. He got hurt, knee injury. Princeton played without him, and they played beautifully without him. Team concept really made it easier for them.
And Corey Popham, their goalie, the question mark of the defense, had his best game of the season in the national championship.
Maryland not able to get a shot off the swarming defense. New faces, new numbers in. The fabled 3 are out of the attack zone. The senior goalie now in, DeBello. We talked about that for Princeton, number 11. And even Maryland has new faces in here. They've got new attack in here, not their starters. John Kamenizis works far side now. A lot, again, fresh faces. Andrew Combs with the ball now. Sideline for Princeton starting to celebrate as we go down to about a minute and a half left in this game. Got to reiterate, 3-3 halftime. Who would have believed this one would have been such a separation in score. 9 goals separate these two teams. Maryland working around that young attack. These are the faces you'll see next year, Quint.
Neil DeBello, great save. The senior, Coach Tierney showing a lot of class getting Neil DeBello in the game. The senior from North Syracuse. His brother, actually one of the midfielders who played for Princeton in the late 80s and early 90s, who built this program to the point where it is. A lot of great athletes. When Tierney took this job, sacrificed, and really built this program, and now you can see the outcome of that. And DeBello makes a save, and he'll have a seat on the bench. And the freshman, Trevor Tierney, the son of Coach Bill Tierney right there, will now get his chance. You can see the seniors on the sideline. That's Michael Allen, another senior. Didn't get much playing time in his career when you're sitting behind a guy like Hubbard, Massey, and Hess, but he's a quality player.
Well, Lawrence Smith, number 43, had that looking at him. He came in as a young talent. He's a junior now, and they said, we want to play attack, we want to play midfield. He switched positions rather than watch those three become the great All-Americans that they are. A minute left as Princeton starts the victory train. This is a team that really has dominated the 90s. They celebrated, Quint, at halftime, the 73 team of Maryland. Maryland and Cornell were the teams in the 70s. Hopkins has been strong throughout. In the 80s, Carolina went on huge runs. In the 90s, it's been Princeton. And of course, Syracuse has had a great tenure all the way through these great years of NCAA finals and championships.
They will become the third team to three-peat. Hopkins, 78, 79, and 80. And then Syracuse, 88, 89, and 90 behind the Gate brothers. Princeton has done it in the 90s, their 5th national championship.
Got some new faces scoring as goalie Pat McGinnis lets one get by.
Ben Hayworth, the senior. Got to feel great about that. Getting into the national championship game. Get your name in the scorebook. He's a senior, had 2 goals on the season. Coach Tierney showing a lot of class, emptying his bench. You got to feel good for a senior to step up in a game like this. Get some playing time. Get your name in that box score because that guarantees you immortality.
And Princeton, they've been here before celebrating, and Maryland, unfortunately, they were here last year as well. They swore it would not be like last year. They came in, tied the game at 3, played pretty tough in the first half. Andrew Whipple right here, captain, never got on track. The defense and this man Hubbard on the offensive end of Princeton, just too much, showing that without a doubt, this team belongs in the record books as a 3-peat champion and the dominant team in the 1990s.
12-2 run. A team built on defense, and it's a team concept. They're playing without Christian Cook, a first-team All-American defender who played so valiantly in the semifinals. And then they hold this Maryland team to 5 goals, an amazing defensive performance.
Time winding down, a lot of fresh faces in there. McGinnis picks it up, throws it downfield. And Princeton, the dominant team of the 90s, proves they are the class of 98. Well, the Princeton Tigers celebrating what has truly been a remarkable run. They had to come from behind many times this year. It wasn't as easy as years past. What a run for the Tigers. Division I national champions, 92, 94, 96, 97, and now the class of 98.